Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is part 2 of section 3.1. We're going to concentrate on box plots and measures of center, and we're going to use the calculator quite a bit, so please have that handy. Now, the first thing I want to go through is the parts of the box plot, okay, or AKA box and whisker plot. First of all, it is cut into, we have 5 number summary on this thing, okay, 5 numbers that we are interested in. And you might recognize this. Again, this is a middle school standard that you should have already worked on. But here we go. So this is a whisker on the left side, and the beginning of that whisker is usually the minimum. Okay, and then the beginning of the box is called Q1. That's quartile 1. Okay, let me write that out. Quartile 1. And then inside the box, we have a line that stands for the median. Okay, usually we just use the letter M for that, ladies and gentlemen. And then the end of the box is our Q3. And then the end of our whisker on the right side, that is our maximum. One more thing, this line in the center is also known as Q2, but we don't call it Q2. We always call it the median. All right. So you need to have this memorized, okay, or at least you should have it memorized. Also, what is special about this? Now, we're dealing with data sets, right? We're dealing with a list of numbers. Well, 25% of the data is contained in that first whisker. 25% of the data is contained in that last whisker, okay? For example, if I had 20 numbers, okay, 20 numbers in my data set, well, 25% of 20 is 5 numbers. That means there'd be 5 numbers in that whisker, 5 numbers in that whisker. Okay, which means 25% of the data is in that part of the box and 25% of the data is in that part of the box. Always, that will not change, ladies and gentlemen. 25, 25, 25, 25, and then the whole box obviously is 50%. All right, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a test question. But again, you can use your notes while you're at home when you take your test. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take those same test scores and we're going to make a box and whisker plot. Now, I have already typed these numbers in, so let me just pull this up. So I already went stat edit. So again, you have the power of pause. So go ahead and pause the numbers. Okay, pause, type those in. All right, so I've already done that. Now, the nice thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to sort this. When you do a box and whisker plot, you do not need to sort it. We only did that to help us with the stem and leaf plot. So no, you don't need to sort here. All right. So what we're going to do is there's two ways that you can find the information that we need. Okay, this is method number 1. Okay, here are the steps. We're going to hit the stat button. We're going to right arrow to calculate, and then we're going to pick number 1, one variable stat. Now, the calculator is automatically going to default to list number 1, okay? So pause if you need to write that down. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go stat. I'm going to right arrow to calculate, and I'm going to pick number 1. Now it should say list 1. I'm going to go down to calculate. Okay, just use your down arrow or use the enter button. Okay, enter, and voila. Now, what do I want to know? Well, I want to know these 5 things. All right, and the calculator has just figured out all 5 of those numbers for me. All right, let me show you where those are. Use your down arrow. And voila, like magic, there they are, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, they are right here. Here's the minimum, here's Q1, here's the medium, here's Q3, and here's the maximum. Isn't that great? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create this box and whisker. All right, let me get rid of this weird looking 7 here. I have no idea why that's there. There we go. All right, now when you do this, you must make a number line. Okay, now I already created the number line to save a little bit of time. All right, you must make a number line, and I'm counting by 5s on this one. You might count by 10s, okay? It depends upon the numbers that you're given. Okay, these numbers, okay, they're not that far apart, so counting by 5s works pretty good. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers. I'm going to mark my spots on above the line, not on it, above the line. So the smallest, the minimum, if you recall on the calculator, is 45. All right, so I'm going to mark that, 45. And I'm going to go ahead and even write that on top. Okay, now the next number is Q1, which is 68.5. All right, well, 68.5, I'm going to say 68.5 is about right there. And I'm going to write that, and I want you to do the same thing too. That's the beginning of my box. So this is my whisker right there. Okay, then we've got 80.5. All right, well, 80.5 is really close to 80, so I'm going to put that right there. And I'm not going to draw my box yet because I'm going to go one more time, and then let's see, it says Q3 is 90, so I'm going to go ahead and put 90 right there. And again, you must draw a number line. There's my box. Sorry, it's not the neatest. And then the maximum is 105. All right, there's a box and whisker plot. So again, I can see 25% of the students, 25% of the students got a scored 45 to 68.5. And I could write all kinds of things about this. It's much easier to see that with a box and whisker than just looking at a bunch of numbers in a list. Okay, I can see that, oops, I forgot to write my 105 here. I can see that 25% of the students scored between a 90 and 105. Okay, that means 1 out of 4. All right, so there you go. There's a box and whisker. So let me show you method number 2. You're going, whoa, what is all of that? Okay, well, I'm going to have the calculator display this on the screen. Okay, here are the steps. So pause and write the steps down if you need to, or rewind back to this. All right, so I'm going to hit the second button. All right, I'm going to go methodically through this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that second button. Okay, I did that. Now what does it say? Now hit the Y equals button, which is right above, okay, which is right here, right above it. There we go. There's the Y equals button. Okay, now let's see what it says. Pick number 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick number 1. There we go, number 1. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's on, and I need to pick the box and whisker right there, and I need to make sure it says list 1. Okay, so here we go, folks. I did second Y equals, I picked number 1. All right, it's on. All right, it's on. Hit enter while on the on button. Then down arrow, now right arrow to this box and whisker. So pick that one, don't pick the other one. So again, let me do that again. So I turned it on by hitting enter. I went down 1 and then I right arrowed until I got to this box and whisker. And it says list 1 and frequency is 1. Okay, we're good there. Okay, now what does it say? Now it says hit zoom. All right, so I'm going to hit zoom, which is right here in the middle, zoom. And then it says hit number 9. Okay, so I'm just going to hit zoom and then I'm going to hit 9. Cool, look at that. The box and whisker showed up on the screen. Okay, well, what else do I need to do? Oh, hit the trace button and then I can use my left and right arrow key. All right, so I'm going to hit the trace button. It's right here next to the zoom button. Okay, it's at the top. Look, minimum 45. Hey, isn't that cool? And then if I right arrow, look at that, 68.5. There's the median. There's Q3, and there's the maximum. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. That is cool. Okay, that's method number 2. You don't have to use that method, but it's there if you want it. I think it's a pretty cool option. Now, the one thing I want to point out is, and you're going to hear this in a little bit, is outliers. Okay? The reason I like this box in Whisker, ladies and gentlemen, is because, let me go back to this real quick. See these dots right here? Those are possible outliers. So the calculator, an outlier is a number that doesn't fit the data. Okay, it could be really big or really small. That's what an outlier is. It's an unusual number. And the calculator, there's a formula that it actually uses to see if a number is an outlier. And if it is, it will actually show it as dots. Okay, let me demonstrate. Let me say a kiddo took the test, and let's say that they got a, let's see, the smallest test score is 45, right? There it is. Let me make that a 0. Ooh, they got a 0 on the test. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do zoom 9. Oh, you can't really see it, but it's way over here. Here, let me do this instead. Let me make that 45 a test score of 2. Then hopefully we'll see it. Let me make that a 2. All right, there we go. Now let's go zoom 9. There, now we can see it. See, that 2 is really unusual for that test. That tells me that that student must not have studied very much. All right, let's move on so this video isn't super long. Here we go. So I already just talked about this. Outliers, write this down. Data points that are extremely different from the others. Okay, they might be small, or they might be large. There could be one or more. Okay, the mean. Okay, remember the mean is also known as the average. Again, pause and write this stuff down. You should recognize that symbol, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, remember to find the mean, we simply add the data and divide by the number of values. Okay, and the median is the middle number. But ladies and gentlemen, the calculator finds these for you. Okay, you've already seen it. Okay, let me show it to you with the calculator really quick. So again, when I did stat, calculate, when I did number 1, it found the mean. The mean is the first one. The X with that line on top, that's your mean. So the calculator also finds, there's lots of other things in here that you're going to learn about in this section, but that's the mean, the very first one. And then again, the median is down here, MED. All right. So the calculator does all of this for you. Again, you have to put the data in list 1. Then you have to do stat calculate. Whoops, that's not calculate. Stat calculate, and you pick number 1. And again, the mean is the X bar, and the median is the MED. All right, I know that was fast. Rewind it if you need to, and listen to that again. All right, now, if the data is perfectly normal, the mean and median are the same. Write that down. Pause and write that down. If the data is perfectly normal, the mean and median are the same. So see how this is very symmetric? I could cut this in half with the scissors and I could fold it. That's what I mean by normal. It's very symmetric. Okay, now there are some details here, and the SAT test juniors, they like to ask questions like this. So let's think about this. If there are outliers and they're small, it's going to make the mean smaller than the median. Okay, those outliers are going to pull the average down. That is an important concept to think about. If you have a couple of really small numbers, it's going to pull the mean down. It's going to pull it below the median. Okay? I'm sure you talked about things like this in middle school also. All right? So, really small numbers. Now this one, there are no outliers, but look at how this is what's called skewed left. Okay? That means it's being pulled left. That's skewed left. That means there are some smaller numbers. Again, look at where the mean is compared to the median. It's going to be smaller than the median. Okay, now the reverse happens. Okay, so if you have large outliers, okay, it's going to pull the mean higher. Whoops. It's going to pull the mean up. It's going to be higher than the median. Okay, and same thing here. See how this whisker is really stretched out? Okay, that is called skewed right because it's being pulled to the right. Again, look at what those numbers, those large numbers are doing. It's pulling the mean higher than the median. Okay, that is an essential concept that you should know throughout life because you're going to run into things, and if you ever have to do estimates, okay, and you're looking at some numbers, you can hopefully go, okay, it's going to be smaller than the median because of these small numbers, or it's going to be higher, the mean's going to be higher than the median because of these higher numbers. All right, please re-watch this if you need to, rewind it, okay, pause it, etc. I believe that's it. Yes, that's it. So this video is about just as long as the last one, a little over 17 minutes. Okay, that's it for Unit 1, Chapter 3.1. Next will be Chapter or Unit 3.2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, see you in the next video.